from sunny Central Florida. Welcome to Grace's neighbor, Sharon. Let's get to crafting.
Thanks to Connie from Connie's Creation and Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun for hosting this playlist every month. It's women supporting women. This month I was inspired by Cindy from Monarch Mom DIY and her most recent beach themed video. More about that later on in this video. Project number 1, Twig Seahorse wall decor. So Cindy from Monarch Mom did this originally, and she's getting the crown. She did not do a background on hers, but I chose to do a background because I have some beautiful turquoise walls in my background. I just wanted to match them up. So these are all from Dollar Tree. The netting, the wood wreath, the seahorse I just found on a random shelf, like someone had just tossed it and decided against it. And then I have this Valentine tag sign left over, and it's a little bit taller than some of the other tag signs I have. And it does have some glitters, so I was like, ugh, trying to decide what I wanted to do with it. And when I was going to sand it, and then I'm like, no, because the glitter's going to be everywhere then. So I decided to cover it, or encase it, if you will. And to do that, I grabbed some Dollar Tree gift wrap and one of the small Dollar Tree glue sticks. And the glue stick just smears on and holds wonderfully. It's like no fuss Mod Podge. It's fantastic. I love it. So I just cut to size and got that glue stick, and I did the edges first. You want to make sure you get the edges all the way. That way, even if you don't get the middle, get the edges. So I got the edges, and then I was careful not to slide the glue gun through the glitter areas. So you'll see I go around the heart, and I go around that little decor on the little moped there. And then I come back and do the edges again, because I want to make sure. And it's literally as simple as that. I'm going to grab the gift wrap and find the space, find the place I want it, which in this case is at the very, very top. And then I'll just literally just place it, smooth it, done. And I come back after and trim the edges. So I flip it over and I start with my ombre painting effect here, and I just chose some blues and turquoises because that matches my bathroom. And I'm using like one brush for the color, and then I take a bristle brush to try and blend in the different colors. So a lot of the blend goes way up into the painting of the new color, and I realized I wanted a good area of turquoise at the very, very top. So I stop my blending here, and I get to the top and just do a nice area of turquoise there. And then once I have that done, I take that bristle brush and I do some more blending, and then I set it aside to dry. Next, I'm just going to put a little bit of white on the seahorse because I just don't want it wood when I'm putting twigs on. And you'll see a little bit of green there. I used a brush that had green on it. Silly me. So put that aside, and now we're going to break down this wood wreath into twigs. So I'm making twigs. And when Cindy from Monarch Mom did, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like so hard work and such, tedious work. But I mean, it really wasn't hard. It broke apart like anything, and maybe it was a little bit tedious, but I kind of get into it, like stuff like this. Like I didn't even have any music or TV on or nothing. I was just like sitting here making twigs, and it's kind of like doing a puzzle, but you're making the pieces as you go. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm painting on the glue because the cap on my glue is messed up, and I think it actually helped because you don't over apply the glue and it's more precise. It was a little bit kind of gloopy, gloppy because it's old and it doesn't have the proper cap on it, so the air's getting to it and everything. But it worked, and it worked really well actually. I would apply the glue, and then I would slide the twig into the glue, and it would, not only did it glue to the seahorse, but it glued to the twigs around it, which was fantastic. I was very happy with that. So I'm just gonna keep doing these twigs, and I didn't try and do one like a big long one all the way across. I liked how it looked with, you know, kind of like laying bricks or whatever. You like that. There's different transitions. So I'm going to go ahead and do it all the way up here. I'm going to cover up the hole there because I don't need it. It's going to be on the background. And so I didn't want to show you too much, but I just wanted to make sure you saw the process. So if you choose to do it yourself, you can do it the same way. Okay, so once I'm pretty much done with this, I actually do set it aside because I do want to give the glue a chance to dry before I mess around with it. That's the only thing about like not using hot glue, like when you use wood glue or school glue, it does take a little while to dry, and you need to be aware of that. Like go and walk away or go and do something else while it's drying, because you just don't want to like all your hard work, you know, for naught. So this netting, I'd never seen it before, and I had no idea how it was going to come out, and it's actually like wrapped around a piece of heavy plastic. So I just kind of pulled it across my tag, trying to figure out how much I need, and trimmed off what I thought was a good amount. And then I remembered that I need to do some serious sanding on this tag, so I grabbed my netting and set it aside, and I get to sanding so much here that my arm is sore and I am covered in green and blue dust. So got up, washed up, and then came back to the netting. And I fussed around with it, but then I just glued the strings on the back and then trimmed them after. So glue first, trim second. And this one here, I made a little knot because I didn't feel like there was very much to glue there. I just wanted some surface area. And there we have it. The Seahorse is home, and I will give you a better look at him at the final reveal. Project number 2, cracked paint beach sign. So I'm gonna attempt to do a beach sign on a much smaller piece of wood than Cindy at Monarch Mom did. But I didn't really have anything big that I thought would look good. So last year I bought like a box of just lumber scraps. And these are some of the wide pieces that were in the box. And I actually just choose the widest one, so that means I can make my sign taller, basically. So I bought that box off Amazon, and you'll see I rock the wood back and forth because it's warped. And so, okay, well, I'll tell you about that later. I put a layer of turquoise on it and actually left it overnight and then came back to it the next day. And I'm putting this crackle medium on. This is the crackle medium by Folk Art. And it's kind of just like putting a gloss finish on. It's very slick and slippery. And so I got that on there, and look, I actually waited a couple hours till it was nice and dry. So this wood, it just comes in a box, and I got it off of Amazon. And I want to say like $30 or $40, and a lot of it is just 2 foot long pieces that are much thinner than this piece that you see here, but really fun to work with. So I take my little fun warped piece of wood here, and so it's got dry turquoise paint and dried crackle medium. And I was gonna do brown, but it just didn't look right to me. So I added some water to my almost empty bottle of white Adirondack chalk paint, and I'm getting as much white paint on there as I can, and it was drying so fast. You'll see in the middle, it like literally was drying as I was still painting. So I'm showing you a close-up, like this is almost right away. Isn't that fantastic? The footage of me gluing down the word beach with the rope got messed up. So it recorded, but I couldn't edit it. So I was able to do some freeze frames and show you. Basically just press the rope down, did a pencil mark, hot glue and the pencil mark and press the rope back down. These are the shell assortments that I had to work with. I chose the one that had a little bit more coloring in the shell because I liked how it looked with the nautical rope. And then those big shells were too big for the assortment, so I was due for a Dollar Tree run anyway, and chose a couple of different assorted shell bottles there, and chose one that I thought was going to go with what I already had down there. And once I'm able to get that little cork stopper out of there, I'll actually be able to see them together. Here we go. And I liked how that looked, so I decided to leave the two big shells in the middle, kind of like a bow, and then have the little shells across the top, like a ribbon maybe? But I decided, since it's going in the bathroom and everything, I wanted it to have a really good hold. So I'm going to use E6000 for the shells. It'll give me time to get them all down and move them around if I want to. And then I want to put the netting on the bottom, kind of like the word is sitting on top of it. So that I'm actually going to staple. And I tried using the office stapler, and the wood was just too hard and too thick. It wouldn't work. So I dragged out my heavy duty stapler, and yeah, you'll see me trying the office stapler. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, so what I did with the heavy duty stapler is I pulled the netting apart, stapled it in a couple different places, and then I hot glued more netting over top the staples, so you can't actually see that there's any staples there. And I like how that looks, and I think it turned out great. You'll see the shells like jumping in all over the place. Excuse me, which is why I did the knitting part first. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get those shells done, and I'm also going to put those, you'll see them in the corner there, the top left corner. I think you call them eye hooks, and I'm using the eye hooks to hang it because it's pretty heavy, and you'll get a better look at the final reveal. Jumping in here to thank Connie and Amanda for hosting this playlist every month. Here's Your Crown means that we find someone inspiring and we give them a crown for recognition. I chose Monarch Mom DIY, and I chose some projects from her budget beach decor video. I'll post a link to her channel in my description box below, as well as for Connie and Amanda and for the playlist. Project number 3, Pizza Pan Ship's Wheel. And this is the final project in this video. We have the pizza pan, the mirror, and the nautical rope from Dollar Tree. And then we have these paint stick ends or paint stick scraps. I just actually kept them for no reason, and now I'm going to use them. So I was happy to have them. We just matched them up so the little curved area is all pretty much the same. And then I just marked the bottom so I'd remember that that's the part that gets glued on the back of the pizza pan later. So everything gets a coat of white paint. The paint sticks here, and I'm just doing the one side because the back side's not going to show. And also I'm going to be gluing, and I want like the bare wood for gluing. Once I'm done with the paint sticks here, I'm going to give a fresh coat of paint to the mirror frame, and then a fresh coat of paint to the pizza pan. And not the whole pizza pan, again, it's just not necessary, and there might be some glue there. I want to make sure they don't stick together. You'll see me separating them. And I love using wax paper to glue stuff. I don't know what I did before I started using it. So here you see me doing the edges of the pizza pan, and there's the mirror frame, and I'm going to put the mirror back together with some E6000. And then everything gets distress paint. The distress paint colors are Maize, Java, and Castle. So basically gray, yellow, and dark brown. And everything gets a little treatment that looks kind of choppy until you start distressing it with a sanding block or a wet paper towel. So the pizza pan gets the sanding block. The mirror frame used the paper towel, and then the paint sticks I used the sanding block. And that's just me gluing the mirror frame down. I used just E6000 because it's a mirror and I want it to be on there good, especially in the bathroom with the heat and humidity. So I covered the mirror with paper towel there. No particular reason, I just didn't want you to see my concentration face. So everything's been painted white, painted distressed, and then sanded or wiped down. And that just softens everything and fills in the lighter colors. And now that the painting's all done, we're going to get the nautical rope in there, and that's going to give it that total nautical feel. When Cindy from Monarch Mom did hers, she had the little frisbee and she wrapped the rope around the frisbee in the middle. So with the pizza pan, I had to wrap it around. But I think I get a similar effect like she did. So I used hot glue for the nautical rope. Got it all around, cut it on diagonal to finish it. And now I'm going to get these little spokes on, I think you call them. And I'm just checking to make sure they are the same length, so then I know where to glue them. So each end of these paint sticks had that little smear of E6000 on the end, and then I put a little bit of hot glue above that and then press it down onto the back. And then I just used a little stick there in the middle as a guide. So like I did one side, and then I would do the stick like that to do the other side, so they matched up. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna flip it over and it's like night and day. It looked like a hot mess right until the very end here. And we're gonna clean up the mirror, and then I'm gonna give you a better look at the final reveal. And now, the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.